What is holistic well-being? This is something that I talk about all the time, but I remember back in the day when people would talk to me about holistic healing and holistic well-being, and I didn't really understand what it meant. And so when I talk about holistic well-being, I'm talking about caring for the whole person. You see, back in the day when I had my breakdown and I really had a mental health crisis, I guess, um, that was the first time really that I paid any attention to the care of my mental well-being. And even then, I thought I'd made progress in prioritising my mental health as much as my physical health, and I thought that I'd made huge strides. Now, don't get me wrong, it was an improvement, but I still treated them as very different things, as though they were two separate things. I had my physical health, I had my mental health, and they are important. Of course they are important, but there are other pieces to the jigsaw that makes up you and who you are. And through my journey and my experiences and my learning and recovery, really, I've come to understand how important these four key elements really play into our overall well-being. And we need to be mindful of these four key areas, and we need to make sure that we are looking after these four key areas, because if there's lacking or there's something going wrong in one of the areas, it will have an impact on the others. Now, that's the breakthrough for me. That was when I realised, and when I started to pay attention to all the areas, that's when the massive change happened for me. So what are these four key elements? So we've got the physical side of us. I mean, we understand it's our bodies. We need to look after our bodies. We know that we need to exercise. We need to look after, we need to have a healthy diet. We know those things. We need to look after it to help maintain stability, to maintain flexibility, and to prevention of diseases. We know, don't we? Have you ever had it where we've got ourselves really tired or, burnt out, and we just end up picking all the bugs? And, I've said it myself, I've got myself run down and now I'm picking up all the bugs and the colds and the things, And so this is why it's important to maintain our physical health, is to help our body fight off diseases and bugs and things like that. We need to look after our mental health. I've already mentioned that, and that's really important. So our thoughts and our emotions. We also need to consider the social element, which is something that I hadn't before. And again, when that came up as part of my journey, I was kind of a bit skeptical and thinking, well, how does that make an impact? But it really does. And it's a tough one, because this one is about relationships with people. This could be family members, this could be friends, and so it gets a bit, ooh. But trust me, it's something that's really worth giving time to, because it might be that the connections that you're having, the social connections, aren't having a positive impact on you. And, it is something to really think about. And I know that when I came to that part of my journey, it felt uncomfortable. However, I did realise that, there were elements to my social connections that they weren't having a great effect on me. And so I had to distance myself from some of them. Now, nobody's saying you have to be rude and you have to be, and even just cut people out of your life. Not at all. For me, until I felt, you know, stronger, I guess, mentally. I just had to distance myself a little bit, because being in those environments and that surroundings wasn't helping me at all. And so I had to just give myself a break and a breather to focus on me, to do the things I needed to do. And then I was kind of like, I'm okay now, because they're not having the effect. And of course, there have been other social connections where I've just thought, actually, they just don't serve me. And it can feel a bit weird saying that, but it's the truth, So that's definitely one to consider. And then the final one is the spiritual element. So this isn't about religion, which I used to think it was. It's not about religion. It's not about, whether you believe in a higher self or a God or anything like that. This is the connection within yourself. This is to understand yourself and your beliefs, what's good for you, listening to your own self, being guided by the signs and the intuition and the messages that your body is sending you. And it does send us. And it's about tuning in to listening to what they are. And you will have experienced this. You might not have realised you have, but you will have experienced it. Even if you might have had a situation where you just feel a bit, that's your body saying it's not quite right, So the signs are there. So the spiritual element is all about checking in and tuning in to that inner self and your inner beliefs. By doing this, we can help to find our purpose. And it can help us to move forward, because once we understand what's going on within, what's happening, what is our body telling us, what is good for us, then we can make the decisions and the steps towards wherever it is that we're wanting to go. But it really does start from within. So focusing on strengthening that mind-body connection, it really, really helps us to be aware of what our bodies are telling us. And it's really important that we look at, like I say, these 4 key aspects. And I will be sharing more about these different elements and some, as well as why we need to do this, but also practical things to help you and what to do with that. How to get past any blocks, or to understand how to change things for the better for you. So thank you for watching. I look forward to sharing more of this with you over coming videos and sessions. Any questions, or if you've got any feedback or anything that you'd like help with, please feel free to reach out. My contact details will be around this video somewhere. Please feel free to reach out to me. Thanks for watching. Take care now. Bye bye.